Hello everyone, welcome back to more 428 Shibuya Scramble. We're gonna start back with... Sorry, hold on. We're going back to Minorikawa. It was rare nowadays to see a father behave so imperiously toward his own daughter. Just how sheltered had he been trying to keep her? Minorikawa couldn't see her face from where he was sitting, but his interest was piqued. Let's see... He should move. Should he move to another seat where he could take a look? Gathering up his laptop, Minorikawa switched to a different table. I don't care if I'm making a scene, the other man was saying. I'm not leaving until I see you cut ties with that boy, do you understand? I understand that you're never happy unless you get your way. You're acting like a spoiled child. Don't you talk back to me. You don't understand your own situation. You're letting your emotions cloud your judgment without putting any thought into your future. No, Dad, you're the one who doesn't understand. The father-daughter argument was getting more and more heated. Dad was clearly furious. Minorikawa shifted closer, curious to see what might happen next. Then he saw the daughter's face and gasped out loud. Oh! Hey, I know you! Wait. You're on TV, right? The father scowled up at him. You must be mistaken, he said gruffly. No, I'm sure of it, Minorikawa said. What show am I thinking of? The young woman seemed disconcerted by his enthusiasm. Who was she? He called out to a waitress who was passing by. Hey miss, do you know this gal? She's an actress, right? It's right on the tip of my tongue. The waitress ignored him, but Minorikawa was undeterred. I know this. Weren't you in one of those TV dramas or something? Operation... Right, we're leaving, the father grumbled. He rose from his seat, radiating aggravation. Huh? The young woman said, but... Not waiting to hear her objection, he grabbed her by the hand and stormed out of the cafe. Hey, hold on, Minorikawa squawked. His plea fell on deaf ears. All he could do was watch them go, then shuffle back to his seat in disappointment. Damn it, what was her name? I should have asked for her autograph. Mumbling under his breath, Minorikawa went back to typing. What's that? A strange beeping sound broke Minorikawa out of his writing reverie. Upon looking up in confusion, he found his attention drawn to a young woman at another table. And then one of these, and one of these. Oh, and this, and this, and this, and this, and that too. She finished with a broad grin. Let me just repeat your order back to you. 1 Japanese-style beef patty, 1 spicy fish roe spaghetti, 1 chicken casserole, 1 French onion soup, 1 fruit parfait, 1 chocolate parfait, and 1 deluxe chocolate parfait. Will that be all? The waitress anxiously awaited confirmation. Oh god, Cheery, what are you doing? You forgot the large caramel shake. The customer was a full-figured young woman ensconced at a nearby table. Oh, my apologies. The waitress quickly jotted down the addition to the order. That'll do it for now, the young woman said. For now? Yikes. She's actually planning on ordering more after that? Marveling at this display of appetite, Minorikawa went back to typing. Now what? He heard the strange beeping sound again, subtly different than the first time. And this time it was closer. Seriously, what the heck is that? Let's get to the bottom of it. I need to get to the bottom of this or I'll never be able to concentrate. Just where the heck is that sound coming from? He searched his surroundings for a moment and quickly discovered that the noise was coming from his own bag. He pulled out one of the most important tools of his trade, a bug detector. It was on, and it had picked up a signal. To a reporter, information was life. That made owning a bug detector a sensible precaution in his line of work. With the device in hand, Minorikawa casually scanned the area. Eventually, he zeroed in on the signal. He stood up. "Everyone, your attention please," he announced. "Someone set up a listening device in here." Several cafe patrons turned their heads in disbelief. A woman breathed in pungent perfume flashed him a disagreeable look. "Oh, come on, that's ridiculous," she huffed. "There's something fishy going on." "The only thing fishy right now is you," the woman declared disdainfully. "Why don't you get out of here and let everyone enjoy their meals?" "No, I smell a scoop." "You what?" "You, what's your name?" "None of your business, that's what. Now hurry up and stop that awful noise." Other customers were starting to murmur loudly. "There's a listening device here, folks," Minorikawa said. "How can that not bother you? Do you know where it could be?" "Excuse me?" the woman called out. "Could someone please do something about this man?" The waitress hurried over. "Sir, please, you're bothering our other customers." "There's a listening device in here. That's what people should be bothered by right now." The waitress took a reflexive step backward at the words listening device. "You're the one who's intruding on everyone," the woman shouted. "Honestly, could you please stop that racket?" "It's not me making the racket. It's the bug tracker." "Just who the hell do you think you are?" "Police. Somebody call the police." "Ma'am, please calm down," the waitress said. "There are other customers here and I'll calm down once you get this disrespectful bore out of here." "All I'm doing is sharing the truth. You can't kick me out for that." The waitress wavered, clearly intimidated by both of them. "You sure got a lot of nerve," the woman snapped at Minorikawa. "Go play detective someplace else." "I'm not a detective. I'm a reporter." "Really now? By far my least favorite profession." "And why is that? Did someone write a story about you, lady? Got skeletons in your closet?" "You shut your mouth. How dare you?" "Yeah, I smell a scoop here all right, and the smell's coming from you." "Oh, stop it with your scoop nonsense already. It's no use trying to hide things from me. You have no idea what you're talking about." "Oh, yes I do, lady." "Go to hell." "After you." Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. As they shouted over each other, their words blurred together until they were barely words anymore. Onlookers could hear only indistinct, meaningless raving. And still, the yelling went on and on and on. Eventually, there came the sound of approaching sirens. But even when a police cruiser pulled up outside the cafe, the two didn't slow their bickering. Lost his cool, drawn attention. Maybe worrying about weird noises can wait. Okay, so go back. Here? No. Reminded of the article. And then jump to Kano at Thinking back to the way Tateno had put his life on the line to rescue a bunch of strangers made Kano feel all the more raw about just tailing these syndicate members. Letting the crooks just wander around wasn't going to bring Maria Osawa to safety. Of that, Kano was now certain. Shoot, it's bleeding pretty bad, he heard someone say behind him. Pretty bad is right. He turned and saw two young men carrying another along. There was a towel wrapped tightly around the third's head. Hey, what happened? Kano asked. Shut your mouth. Kano blanched. Can the attitude. He's trying to help, another voice cut in. It was Sasayama. Had he finished dealing with the girl by the station then? What happened to your friend? Out of my way, man. I ain't afraid to kick your ass. Look, cut the crap and let me take a quick look. Sasayama unwrapped the towel from around the young man's head. Oh, that's nasty. The young guy was a little more than a kid. His head was soaked red with blood. He appeared to be unconscious. They couldn't just leave him. They couldn't just leave him like this, but they were in the middle of a job. They should probably call juvenile affairs. Juvenile affairs. Kano took out his cell phone so he could call the precinct, but Sasayama stopped him, then showed the two youngsters his badge. Oh crap, you a cop? Sasayama nodded. Who you kids with? The BAMFs. BAM. You're not gonna tell me what that means? Okay. SOS. SOS, admitted one of the young men after some hesitation. Who attacked you? Yo, it ain't like that. What was it like then? Infighting? The young man was silent. Sasayama must have been right on the mark. In the course of his police duties, Kano picked up a fair amount of street gossip from the young people in Shibuya. Lately, the scuttlebutt about the legendary SOS gang was that they were dealing with some internal strife. Look, don't worry about it, I get it. There's a hospital just down that way. Hurry up and get him there. The young man batted off Sasayama's offered hand, then quickly hauled his friend away. Sounds like SOS is on the verge of breaking up with all this infighting, huh? Kano asked. He kept his eyes on the young men as they headed off. Yeah, seems like it's pretty rough. You know, what with the original leader leaving and all. The detectives in juvenile affairs were well acquainted with SOS's original leader. Achi. Hold on, I'm just checking. Okay. The stories were like something out of a... The stories were like something out some after-school special. There were tales of them taking down gangs who sold drugs to kids or breaking into Yakuza front offices to save their friends. The detectives with juvenile affairs took these stories with a grain of salt, but if there really were young people like that out there, kinda hoped to meet them someday. The detectives had to hurry to catch up with the man they were tailing. He was still strolling along, seemingly in no particular hurry. They kept him in sight as he crossed another pedestrian overpass and circled back around. Still following the same MO, huh? Sasayama grumbled. Guess so, Kano said. How'd things go with the girl? He was careful not to take his eyes off the mark as they talked. You were right. She's not part of this. Just one of those street evangelists or something. Oh yeah. Yeah, she kept asking me, but are you really happy with your life? Wigged me out. I bailed out of there quick. So Sasayama, I'm thinking the Itachi case is going to get handed off again any moment now. Huh. Sasayama peered at the mark, who was scanning the plaza he'd just entered, apparently looking for someone. I take one side, you take the other, Kano suggested. Sasayama's eyes went wide. Say what now? That way we apprehend both perps involved with the handoff. Sasayama didn't reply. Look, HQ isn't thinking about the hostage's safety, Kano said. But that needs to take priority here. Sasayama's face took on a rare solemnity. Disobeying a direct order is not something to do lightly. Then, after a moment, he added, but I'm on board. I'm sick of all this wandering around anyway. That's the Sasayama I know, Kano replied with a chuckle. Sasayama gave him a silent thumbs up. The two detectives took up position on opposite sides of the plaza. Kano called up Sasayama on his cell phone. You ready? He asked. Just give the word. There were only two non-Japanese people in the nearby crowd. Both were eyeing their surroundings anxiously. Kano was certain the handoff was about to take place. And then... Well, well, well. If it isn't Mr. Toyama. Kano's ears perked up at the sound of an aggressive greeting, the voice dripping with feigned cheer. He whirled around to see two rough-looking young men confronting a father and his daughter. The older man looked pained. Please, just hold on, he said, placatingly. I thought we agreed on 4 o'clock. The young man snarled. Don't you try and play dumb with us, buddy. It's nothing like that, I swear. My girl was just hungry, so I just stepped out to... Yeah? How come you didn't just order delivery, huh? Yes, right. I suppose that would work too. Don't you me, man. Kano watched the argument uneasily. The stranger's altercation put him in a bit of a spot. The crook he was tailing probably wouldn't risk handing off the case with an uproar like this going on. What's going on over there? Sasayama asked. I'm not sure, Kano replied. Looks like some kind of argument. The suspects are gonna get wary on us. It's gonna screw up the whole handoff. Yeah, I know. So do something about it and get over here, Sasayama said. What? Find some way to shut them up and then get over here. Sure, alright. Kano headed toward the argument. He was only halfway there when Sasayama called again. He sounded panicked. Hey, Kano! He made a run for it. Huh? Oh, crap. The man they'd been tailing had vanished in the brief time Kano had taken his eyes off him. Wait up, Kano shouted. Sasayama was racing after the suspect, and Kano rushed to join him. The man was surprisingly quick, however, and neither detective managed to catch up. In fact, they soon lost sight of him amidst the teeming crowds. Frantically, they dashed through the streets as fast and as hard as they could. We lost him, Sasayama admitted at last. Damn it. He stamped his foot on the asphalt in disgust. Director Kuze, Kano gasped over the wireless. I'm sorry, but we lost the man with the attaché case. There was a heavy sigh on the other end of the line. Kano braced himself. He wasn't going to be able to weasel out of this one with just a "I'll do better next time." Sasayama, Kano, get your asses back to the precinct. Kuze out. With that, Kuze switched off the line. Back to the precinct. Kano knew full well what that meant. They were off the case. There was a gnawing in his gut. If those two punks hadn't shown up... No. If that father and his daughter hadn't turned up, he might have been able to apprehend the suspect. Don't let it get you down, Sasayama said. I mean, paper pushing can be kind of fun. The look on his face, however, suggested he didn't think it was fun at all, not one bit. With the air of two men heading to an execution, Kano and Sasayama trudged back toward the Shibuya precinct. Next, Norikawa. Weird sound. Never mind, I need to focus on finishing this article. Norikawa immersed himself in his writing again. Before long, he stopped worrying about the curious sound. The plump young woman set about devouring all the food she'd ordered despite the strange looks she was getting. Now that was an appetite to be reckoned with. It took her under 3 minutes to polish off the lot. Then, looking not the least bit sated, she picked the menu right back up. Was she seriously going to order more? Norikawa was starting to take an interest in this young lady. There might be a story here. He conjured up a series of headlines in his mind. Woman inhales 330,000 calories in 3 minutes. 100 pieces of shortcake. No, he needed something with more punch. Food for thought, an expose on obesity. No, that was no good. He wasn't writing for a fashion mag here. A gourmet day in Shibuya. That was it. He'd be able to whip something up if he went with the foodie angle. Norikawa got up from his seat. That's pretty impressive, he said to the hungry diner. Do you always eat that much? The young woman glared back at him. Not always, she said. Suddenly tension filled the air. Oops, was that way too blunt of me? I mean, she is a young lady after all. Maybe I should change up my approach. Who the heck are you anyway? The woman asked. I'm a freelancer writer. I was hoping I could do an interview with you real quick. You want to interview me? The suspicion was plain on her face. I do. I mean, girls all over the world worry about their diets, right? I hear that, yeah. So would you be willing to share your secret or your technique or whatever for how to eat without getting fat? What, me? Sure, I mean, look at the figure you're maintaining despite eating all this food. The young woman's expression brightened up. Oh, you noticed? There's actually a lot that goes into all this. Yeah? The basic thing, though, is to eat 10 meals a day. Norikawa struggled to keep his jaw from dropping. 10 meals a day. She flashed him a chubby-cheeked grin. You don't know how diets work, do ya? She chuckled. Eating only 1 or 2 meals a day? That's what'll make you fat. You gotta space your food out into smaller portions throughout the day. That's the fundamentals of dieting right there. Right, but what happened to the smaller portions part? Norikawa had to bite his tongue. I see, he said. Any other pro-dieting tips you could share? Well, for the basics, I'd say always drink protein instead of tea, yeah? Drink protein all day. Seriously. Once again, it took all of Minorikawa's willpower to keep his thoughts to himself. Let's see, what else? Oh, there's this stuff called Burning Hammer too, but... She trailed off with a little wince. Wait. Minorikawa perked up. Did you just say Burning Hammer? Oh, you know it? I've heard of it anyway, Minorikawa replied. He decided he was better off keeping his plans to head to the sales demo a secret. There's a sales demo later on if you're interested, the woman said as if she were reading his thoughts. Though, full disclosure, I am working for them right now. She handed Minorikawa an advertising pamphlet. There was a more detailed map for the venue included. What a stroke of luck. Now he didn't need to rely on the crummy map in the project proposal anymore. He'd have no trouble finding the venue with the building's various floors all broken down for him. And actually, I gotta get back to work, the woman said. Sure, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to hang back and finish up my copy here. The woman left the cafe and Minorikawa went back to his laptop. He'd gotten some new info on the Burning Hammer sales demo, but he'd also lost some more time. The surveillance camera piece still wasn't finished. It was going to be a near thing to get it done before the sales demo started. Yet instead of returning to his writing, he got out his cell phone. What if Toyama had gotten another of his crazy ideas? If he tried to hang himself again? The thought had Minorikawa too worried to work on his copy. The phone rang several times before someone picked up. Mr. Toyama, where are you right now? Minorikawa asked. Right now? I'm on the run somewhere near Shoto. Toyama was speaking in an oddly hushed tone. Shoto? After you left the office, some guys came by to collect all my debts. So I made a run for it. Okay, so he wasn't dead, but the situation was still pretty bad. Look, we'll get you through this somehow, Minorikawa said, hoping it was true. Just keep your head down and stay out of trouble. Stay where you are now. Stay where I am? But what am I supposed to do? Toyama's voice dropped in and out. It sounded like he was moving quickly. Find some place to hide and just lay low for a while, Norikawa told him. All right, Toyama said weakly. He hung up. Norikawa let out a deep sigh, then turned back to his laptop. Pew! Oh no. The girl. Yeah, let's go see what she knows. Sasayama and Kano hurried over to the girl. Excuse me, miss. We'd like to ask you a few. Are you happy with your life? The young woman shouted. She thrust her notepad in Kano's face. Tell me this. Are you happy with your life right now? Huh? Looking at the notepad, Kano saw the same question written there in big, bold letters. The girl's eyes widened in surprise, as if she hadn't expected the two men to actually stop and listen. Right now, sir, she continued more quietly. Are you happy? If so, if you could please take this survey about, about your life. Are you happy with it? The more she spoke, the more flustered she became. Sasayama stepped in. Hey, I need to know, did you speak with that Western fellow just now? Huh? No, that's not what I'm asking. Sir, are you happy with your life right now? Are you happy with your life right now? Kano got a sinking feeling in his stomach. This kid was looking for religious converts or something. You did speak with him, didn't you? Sasayama snapped. What did you tell him? The girl's rambling abruptly ceased. Her already ruddy face went even redder, and tears welled up in her eyes. Poor kid, Kano thought. She's just out here trying to get people to listen to her survey questions. There's no way she's part of this kidnapping plot. Look, miss, he said, for the time being, it would be a good idea for you to leave the area. Afraid I'm not at liberty to explain. The girl's only response was to start sobbing outright. I can't do this anymore. I want to go home. Kano and Sasayama exchanged awkward glances. I want to go home. I want to go home. Passersby began shooting curious looks at the trio. Kano, you get back to work, Sasayama said. I'll escort this girl to the train station. He didn't quite manage to stifle the embarrassment in his voice. Right, Kano said. He hurried away, his eyes already searching for the suspect they'd been tailing. Wait, I'm supposed to go to Achi? Wait. Tomoe began typing out a response. Hachi watched over her, wild speculations running through his mind. There was no way a mild-mannered young lady like her could be dating one of her father's co-workers, was there? Unless she was all about finding herself a sugar daddy. No, he was being ridiculous. Hachi banished the thought from his mind. Besides, Hitomi's personal life wasn't the problem right now. The problem was that psycho with the cane and the gun. Is something wrong? Hitomi asked. She'd finished sending her email. No, nothing. Nothing at all. Hachi did his best to look nonchalant. It was a good thing she couldn't read his mind. They exited Sentergai and resumed their approach toward Dogenzaka by way of Maruyamacho. Wait, this isn't that kind of game. Another long detour to decrease their odds of running into the gunman. They made an unlikely pair. Scruffy Hachi, limbs lackadaisically swinging to hide his embarrassment, and brisk, purposeful Hitomi, Hachi found himself watching her out of the corner of his eye. He could still feel her anxiety. He wished there was some way he could ease her fears. Hey, tell me, mind if I ask you something? Sure, go ahead. Okay, so like, I realize this might be kind of a weird question, but he put on a serious face. What does the eco and eco-friendly mean? Huh? Like, I know it's about helping the earth and all, but I don't know what it really means, you know? Hitomi thought for a moment. I'm pretty sure it's short for the English word ecology, which is the science of examining the relationship between man and nature. Oh, right, science. Pleased with himself, Achi chattered on excitedly. A faint smile crept back onto Hitomi's face. Say, you ever hear about the clean river here in Shibuya? A clean river? In Shibuya? Really? Ask 100 youngsters outside of Shibuya Station the same question, and you'd probably get the same answer 100 times. Yeah, the Shibuya River. You know, that drainage channel we saw earlier. Wait, that's the clean river you're talking about? By no reasonable definition was the Shibuya River what anyone would call clean. That's the one, Achi grinned at her confusion. See, the river used to be clean a long time ago. I read about it in this old book called Science Strikes Back. I used to have that book, Hitomi chirped, her eyes wide with excitement. You're talking about the bit with the river that got turned into a song, right? Yeah, that's the one. You read it too? I did! Achi felt a giddy rush at this unexpected connection they shared. Imagine if there was still a clean, beautiful river here in Shibuya. It'd be the perfect place for taking a romantic stroll. Hitomi looked up at Achi. She seemed to share his joy in this idea. Wouldn't it be amazing, Achi said, if that dirty little channel could be clean like it used to be? It would! Maybe as amazing as the look on Hitomi's face right now, Achi thought. Hitomi, tell me some more ecology stuff. Hit me with whatever you got. She seemed happy to oblige, and so as they walked along, Hitomi explained bits of knowledge she picked up over the years. Achi was quiet, hanging on her every word. The return to Dogenzaka became an impromptu environmentalism lecture. Hitomi continued until she exhausted her ready knowledge. I just don't get it, Achi grumbled when she paused at last. I mean, why is it a bad thing that the planet gets warmer? Wouldn't that make winter in places like Hokkaido way easier? No, you see, because if the whole planet gets warmer, it'll cause the whole ecosystem to collapse. Achi racked his brain. And the ecosystem is what again? Is that like a solar system? Images of the cosmos filled his imagination. No, not really, Hitomi said. So is it more like a sound system then? Not really. But anyway, you're saying the problem is with the, what was it again? Carbon dioxide? Yeah, that stuff. I'm gonna have to cut down on that. Sure. That settles it, Achi declared proudly. No more soda for me. Soda? Hitomi asked. Yeah, it's carbonated, right? Hitomi burst out laughing. What, I'm serious. You don't think I can do it? I'm sorry, Hitomi said, catching her breath. It's just... Her face froze, her mirth abruptly vanishing. Oh no. Huh? Achi stared at her face in alarm. What is it? He turned his attention in the direction Hitomi was looking. The man with the cane was bearing down on them. Oh, come on, you've got to be kidding me. He grabbed Hitomi's hand and ran. This time he headed for the main road, hoping to get lost in the crowd. Hitomi struggled to keep up. She was exhausted after all their earlier running. "You can do it," he told her. "The guy's got a cane, we can outrun him." The assassin was still hurrying after them. "Once we get around the next corner, we'll be out on the main road." "Yeah, okay." She strained to get the words out. Bit by bit, her feet were slowing down. It was another 50 meters or so to the main road. As she realized that they might get caught before they get there. "Sorry, Hitomi," he exclaimed, "but I gotta do this." He scooped her up in his arms. Eek! By the time the squeak had escaped her mouth, Achi was already running full out. Achi? Please put me down." "Don't worry, you're super light." Achi glanced back and saw the assassin, now far behind, break off his pursuit. But just as they rounded the corner, he heard the man call out to him. Achi almost stopped on reflex. Hold on, did he just shout my name? How the heck does he know my name? Quaking with unease, Achi slipped into the crowd. Achi, could you please set me down now?" A meek voice pulled him from his panic. "Huh?" He looked down at the girl in his arms. People in the crowd all around them were watching and chuckling. "I mean, I'm really happy you saved me and all, but being carried around like this is, Hitomi was blushing beet red, but Achi's expression had gone pale. "Achi, wait!" Had he really heard that right? That's what it had sounded like. He set Hitomi back on her feet, then used his shirt sleeve to wipe the sweat from his face. "You okay?" Hitomi asked. "When we were running just now, did that guy say anything?" "Not that I heard, no." Huh. Had he just imagined it then? Maybe. Achi was sure he didn't recognize the man. "There's something weird about that guy, though," Hitomi murmured. She furrowed her brow. "No matter where we run, he keeps catching up to us. It's almost like he knows where we're going." She was right. Finding a particular pair of people in a place as big as Shibuya bordered on the impossible. And yet, somehow, the assassin had tracked them down several times now. "Yeah," Achi said. "It's like he's got some way of locating us or something." He got a sudden idea. "That's it. What if they're doing the whole tracking thing, but like backwards?" "What?" Hitomi's eyes widened. "Okay, so you know how in police shows they always stick a tracking device in the bag with the ransom money? Like that, but backwards." "Backwards?" "Yeah, like, instead of putting the tracker on the money, they put it on you." Hitomi frowned. "I don't see how I could possibly have a tracker on me," she said. "I mean, I'm just wearing my clothes from home." "Oh, huh. Well then, how is he doing it then?" Barely a moment passed from the moment he got the words out of his mouth. Once again, the man with the cane stepped out on the road ahead of them. It really did seem as if he'd known exactly where they were going to be. "How the hell's this happening?" Achi groaned. He reached for Hitomi's waist, ready to pick her up again. "It's okay, I can run by myself." Achi took her by the hand instead, and they raced into another alley. This guy will just will not give up. At the far end of the alley, he could see a forklift parked beside a pile of cardboard boxes. Achi decided to hop into the forklift and drive it at the assassin. This ends now. Hachi leapt into the forklift and hit the ignition. Engine roared to life. He lowered the forks and stepped on the accelerator, picking up the pallet of cardboard boxes as he charged toward the man with the cane. The tower of boxes struck the man with a thud. Hachi kept accelerating, dragging him back a good 10 meters or so. The gunman let out a low grunt at the impact. Hachi then hit the brake, shifted back into reverse, and hit the gas again, backing up as fast as he could. The boxes crashed down in a heap, burying the assassin underneath. Several small bottles spilled from the broken cardboard and shattered on the pavement. Hey, what the hell are you doing? A middle-aged man in a sanitation uniform had come running at the sound of the forklift. Sorry man, gotta run, Hachi exclaimed as he jumped from the vehicle. Don't forget to recycle that glass. He took Hitomi's hand and sprinted away down the alleyway. The sanitation worker glowered at him, then turned and gazed despondently at the jumbled pile of boxes and broken glass. Their ragged breathing echoed through the maze of the side streets. All that work, just to wind up fleeing for their lives again. Hachi ground his teeth in frustration. Jump. Minorikawa took a look at his wristwatch and gritted his teeth. Damn, is it that late already? He needed to head for the sales demo. The surveillance camera article wasn't done, but he'd just have to leave it where it was for now. As he was slipping his laptop back into his bag, his cell phone rang. He looked at the screen and saw Chiaki's name listed as the incoming caller. Was she done with her interviews? Hurriedly, he picked up. Chiaki, how's it going? Several wet sniffles came through the receiver. Hey, are you crying? It's no use. Chiaki's voice was indeed punctuated by sobs. People won't stop to talk no matter how hard I try. Oh, come on. This again? Really? I can't do it. Don't worry about paying me, just please let me go home. Minorikawa was already operating on a too tight schedule. He didn't have time to worry about Chiaki on top of it all. Look, just slow down and take a breath. Try and keep at it a little longer. He should have seen this coming when he first called her. Her shyness was practically pathological. But if he cut her loose now, all this frustration would be for nothing. But I can't do it, Chiaki whined again. Please, just forget you ever called me. I guess that was her. Please just forget you ever called me. She hung up before Minorikawa could get another word in. He tried calling her back, but she didn't pick up. Damn it, Chiaki. Don't you dare bail on me. Leaving money for his coffee on the table, Minorikawa jumped up and bolted from the cafe. The plaza outside Shibuya station was as crowded as ever. Minorikawa looked around, but there was no sign of Chiaki. She bailed. Minorikawa dropped to his knees in despair. His last hope had up and left. There was no one else he could even ask. Damn it. All right then, fine. I'll do it myself. He dragged himself back to his feet. All right, listen up. He shouted at the depressing crowd. I'm doing street interviews here, starting now. You guys, shut up and help me. I mean, don't shut up, but help me. He wound up blowing away too much time just to get 2 pages worth of content, leaving himself unable to finish the other articles. In the end, the issue of 4-star general gossip never made it to the newsstands, and Heaven Publishing went down to the count. Kano. She can't be involved, can she? I'm not sure if I should jump now or Norikawa. No. Damn, is it that late already? Hardly he picked up. Chiaki, how's it going? Is this the same thing? Crying, it's no use. Wait. Her shyness was practically pathological, but if you cut her loose now, all this frustration would be for nothing. But I can't do it, Chiaki whined again. I'm sorry, I really am. Look, just calm down. And Arikawa was practically screaming into his phone. Just stay where you are until I get there, okay? Got that? Whatever you do, just don't move. Leaving the money for his coffee on the table, he strode out of the cafe. Street interviews were tougher than they looked. Not many random passers-by were willing to stop and do a back and forth. Still, being able to talk to people on the street was a fundamental skill for a freelance reporter. All Minorikawa wanted was for Chiaki to put in a little effort and make it happen. Although he found her personality frustrating, he actually quite liked her writing. Reading her words, you never guessed what she was like in person. If she could just break the right story, he was sure readers would be quite taken with her. There was no time like the present. The plaza outside Shibuya Station was as crowded as ever. Minorikawa looked around and soon spotted Chiaki. Hey, what are you doing? He asked. She was hunkered down in front of the statue of Hachiko, squatting in an odd position. A group of kindergartners was gathered nearby, peering at her with sadness in their eyes like she was a stray dog or something. What's this all about? Minorikawa asked. This is how I end up when I lose all my self-confidence. I just want to hide. Oh, for crying out loud, get up, will you? I don't wanna... Stop crying. Chiaki sniffled and wiped at her eyes. Let me ask you this. Minorikawa stared down at her. What was it that made you want to be a freelance writer? Well, I guess 'cause I wanted to try my hand at writing. A dangling bit of mucus bobbed in and out of Chiaki's left nostril as she spoke. Okay, Minorikawa followed, and why's that? Well, I'm too embarrassed to say. Chiaki hid her face in her hands. Okay, never mind that then. Right now, you have a task that's being handed to you. You can't just say you can't do it. Minorikawa tried to keep his tone calm. No magazine in the world is going to let a novice writer just write about whatever they want. You have to prove yourself first. Get your fundamentals down. I already know all that. Minorikawa took the notebook from Chiaki's hands. Hey! She squeaked. Wait, you've only talked to one person so far? There sure wasn't going to be a story in that. Yeah, well, not a person exactly. Huh? Wait, what's this here? A cat? No, I mean, yes, there was a person in a cat costume. Jump. What should I do? Where could the truck that took the burning hammer possibly have gone? I'm standing there racking my brain when I hear a voice call out from behind me. Excuse me. Are you, happy with your life right now? I turned to see a woman holding a notebook. Huh? I mean, just... Sorry, do you mind if I ask you a couple questions? I don't have the time for this right now. I'm more than a little busy. Oh, no. I mean, I understand if you can't. She's giving me this hyper-intensive stare. I can't tell if she's trying to be intimidating or if she's actually afraid of me. Something about her is definitely off. Way too jittery and suspicious for my liking. Whatever she wants, I'd rather not get involved. I'm actually pretty busy, I say. Oh, but, I mean, just real quick. It'd be a huge help, please. But, please. I really... Please. She vows so many times she looks like she's one of those drinking birds. Dun, dun. Can't help but feel bad. I can't help but feel bad for this poor girl. I guess I can give her at least a few moments of my time. Alright, but please make it quick. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. She goes back into drinking bird mode. So what was the question? Right. So are you, happy with your life right now? Well, right now, as you can see, I am a cat. Oh, a cat. Yes, I see. A cat. So, yeah, I'll put down cat. She just writes the word cat in a notepad. Right, thank you. Huh? Are we finished already? Yes. Yes, we can finish right there. She hangs her head a little and looks away. Well, that sure was quick. I'm not sure I get what it was all about. Did I really give her enough to be useful? I doubt it, but hey, at least it was over fast. I head off in search of the burning hammer once more. No matter where I wander, though, I don't spot the truck anywhere. Now there's only 15 minutes before the demo is supposed to start. I better make my way back to the venue. Maybe Chiri had better luck in her search. Back at the break room, I'm met by Mr. Yanagishita, who positively radiates despair. Did you find it? I'm sorry. I tried. Yanagishita's shoulders slumped further at my response. Have you heard from Chiri? I asked. No, nothing yet. I guess she's our last hope. All of a sudden, Mr. Yanagishita holds up a pendant. The situation's rough. I'd like you to wear this. It's a miracle stone like the one I saw back in the storeroom earlier. This ought to kick up your luck a notch. Now I see that Yanagishita is wearing another miracle stone around his own neck. Using one bit of sham merchandise to help find another. Nice. This is the pinnacle of pitiful. That's what this is. Hurry up, put it on. Before the luck runs out. Mr. Yanagishita's eyes are all bloodshot. Something tells me that refusing his requests wouldn't be wise right now. After a moment's hesitation, I take hold of the pendant. The stone is blue and glittery. Is that Chiri? Mr. Nagishita squeaks. He whips out his phone. No, sorry, he mutters after listening for a moment. I think you have the wrong number. Guess it wasn't Chiri after all. Okay. And yet he stays on the line. Huh? Really? His tone suddenly does a complete 180. Yes, please, thank you so much. As soon as he hangs up, Yanagishita strikes a victory pose. It's a miracle! Burning Hammer is back, baby! Huh? The recycling guy realized his mix-up and returned the boxes to the loading dock. Oh, for real? You girls did great! Thank you! From the bottom of my heart. I've never seen someone come so close to literally jumping for joy. I'm going to go prep the demo room. Tama, you go bring the burning hammer inside. With that, Mr. Yanagishita practically flies out of the room. No way, I murmured to myself. This thing didn't actually work, did it? I examined the miracle stone more closely. It just looks like some kind of toy jewelry. I wish that I actually get paid my 20,000 yen. Hey, it's worth a shot. With the miracle stone still clutched in my hand, I hurry out to the loading dock. I brace myself before actually stepping out the door. It's not there! Where is it? I look and I look, but I see no sign whatsoever of any burning hammer. In a panic, I call the recycling guy. Well, I definitely returned it to the loading dock. I can assure you of that. If you're telling me it's not there now, unfortunately, that isn't my responsibility. He hangs up. Didn't even sound like he cared. I look around a little more, but to no avail. Yeah, it's definitely not here. Did someone else take it, maybe? As I hang my head in dismay, a middle-aged man in a sanitation uniform passes by, hauling a big garbage bag. He flashes me a curious look. What do we do, Tama? Mr. Yanagishita freaks out when he hears the burning hammer's missing. Please, you gotta give me something. I'm not really sure, sir. Now my boss is an even bigger wreck than he was before. This job is toast. Any money I was going to get paid is going up in smoke. Just like all my hopes and dreams at this point. I guess maybe we could try selling the onagashis? Or something? It's not much of a suggestion, but it's all I've got. Mr. Yanagishita looks at me intently. Wait, what did you just say? Huh? What did you just say? Or something? No, before that. I guess maybe we could try selling the onagachis? I can almost see the wheels turning in his head as a smile slowly creeps back onto his face. That's it. That's it. That's it! I'm certain I see an actual gleam in his eyes. Right then. I guess that's our only real option. No, wait. This is a sign. That burning hammer didn't just vanish by coincidence, oh no. He jolts to his feet, his eyes still positively aglow. Alright, see you later, onagachis. We're about to knock you right out of the park. I probably don't need to tell you how the event goes down. We don't manage to sell even a single onagachi. Turns out, hey, people are really creeped out by eels, and our customers have no problem letting us know that, very impolitely I might add, as they storm away in a huff. But Chiri said she liked eel salt broiled in sushi. I hear Mr. Yanagishita mutter to himself as I get ready to leave. If only we hadn't lost the burning hammer, things would have gone so much differently. Or, no, maybe they'd have gone pretty much the same. You know, I probably should have listened to my gut earlier. Agreeing to take on this job has brought me nothing but trouble. Someone winds up breaking the bottle. Okay, that's all the bad endings. Achi. Achi. Oops. There are the boxes. Ugh! Achi snatched up the nearest box, turned, and threw it at the man with the cane. The box was filled with something heavy. This ought to do some damage. He watched with satisfaction as it struck the assassin in the face. The man staggered sideways. Here, have another. One by one, Achi hurled every box in the pile. And one for the road. The last box wasn't properly sealed. It broke open as it struck their pursuer, sending several bottles flying. They shattered as they crashed onto the street, splashing red liquid. The assassin dropped to one knee, scrubbing at his face with his hand. Achi looked on in surprise. He couldn't possibly have hit the guy that hard. Peering at the man more closely, he saw that he was spattered in red liquid. Apparently the stuff in the bottles had gotten in his eyes. Oh no. Now's our chance. Achi took off with Hitomi, leaving their pursuer kneeling in the alley. Their ragged breathing echoed through the maze of side streets. All that work just to wind up fleeing for their lives again. Achi ground his teeth in frustration. Hitomi, he groaned when they slowed down to catch their breath at last. I'm so sorry. Hitomi was nonplussed. Sorry? What for? I keep saying how I'm gonna help you, but instead I just keep putting you in danger. Achi, no. If you hadn't been with me, I'm sure I'd already be dead. No. Achi hurried to cut her off before she could finish. Don't go there, please. He sighed, then spoke again more quietly. I just want to help you. Clenching a fist, he looked up at the sky. A tiny sliver of blue was visible through the narrow gap between the buildings. You told me Hunter had... Honestly, I can hardly believe how much you've done for me. I do appreciate it, but still... The lengths you've gone to... Hachi looked at his feet, then drew himself up. Well, I admit it's not just because of some gut instinct or your love for the environment, he said. There's another reason I'm doing this. There is? Hachi paused, searching for the right words. I've got a little sister. Her name's Suzune. She's cute and smart, kind of the exact opposite of me, you know? His voice took on an uncharacteristic solemnity. But she's got a weak heart, so she's in the hospital. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. But what does that have to do with wanting to help me? Back when Suzune was first admitted, I'd go and visit her every day. But she... Hachi, you don't need to come visit me every day, you know. The quiet hospital room made Suzune's voice sound all the more frail. What are you talking about? Hachi said. You know I'm worried about you. I'll be fine on my own, really. Hachi had heard that line before. The more she insisted she was fine, though, the more reluctant he was to leave her. Besides, aren't you the amazing guy who helps hold Shibuya together? They need you out there. Hachi didn't know how to respond to that. Much as it was flattering to think he'd played some important role, he was really just hanging out and goofing off with his pals. It certainly wasn't anything for his sister to be proud of. I'd rather you spend your energy helping people who need it more than me. What do you mean, people who need the help more? Who could possibly need help right now more than you? Hachi scratched his head in confusion, and his sister gave him a weak, tiny smile. You'll figure it out, she said. I'm sure they'll find you soon enough. But I'm gonna be here with you. I'll be fine. Suzune's face was pale, but her tone was firm. My big brother's gonna be out there, doing his best to help people. That's what makes me happy. That's what keeps me going. Her voice was clear and unwavering, as if to head off his rebuttal. Alright, Hachi said with a reluctant sigh. So then, I guess, I'll just go out there and help people who are in trouble? Satisfied, Suzune smiled. Thank you. And can you promise me one more thing? Of course. Anything you like. He thumped himself on the chest. If you're gonna help someone, make sure you see it all the way through to the end, okay? Okay. No calling it quits partway through, yeah? You got it. I just worry, Suzune said. I know you have a tendency to lose interest in things. Look, don't sweat it. I swear I won't give up on this. Hachi stuck out his pinky finger. But I want you to promise me something in return. Promise me you won't let this thing beat you. Suzune hooked her little finger around her brother's, her sad smile fragile as glass. And so there you have it, Hachi said. Kind of a rubbish story, I know, not very funny. So your sister's heart condition, it's pretty bad? Hachi nodded. You know, she called me amazing. There's nothing amazing about me. Suzune, she's the amazing one. She's been in the hospital so long, in so much pain, but she never complains. All I do is hang out and goof off with my friends. He gave a shrug. But I just kept thinking about how happy she'd be if I really did help people. It had turned out that finding people in need hadn't been all that simple. The only helpful thing Ashi had been able to think of was going around picking up trash. And that's why Suzune's idiot brother left SOS to be Shibuya's garbage man. Did your friends know? Hitomi asked. About your sister? I didn't tell them. I didn't want to pin this all on her being sick. I see. At least now Hitomi understood what the fight with the local toughs had been about. The sound of approaching footsteps jerked them back into the present. The man with the cane appeared at the end of the alley. He raised his gun. There was no time to flee. Achi quickly stepped in front of Hitomi. If you shoot us here, people are going to come running, he said. I'm guessing you don't want to get pegged for murder. The assassin didn't flinch. Stay out of my way, Achi. This time there was no doubt. The gunman had spoken Achi's name loud and clear. How do you know who I am? The man stared at him through the sights of his gun. She has to die, Achi. It's for your own good. What does he mean? Hitomi whispered. Achi, what's he talking about? Achi's mind was a whirl. Things were coming at him too fast for him to process. I don't know this guy. Hitomi, please, you have to believe me. But... Hitomi took a doubtful step away from Achi. The assassin didn't miss his opening. He quickly aimed at her. Cut the crap, man. What do you mean killing her is for my own good? Once she's dead, you'll understand. The gunman's finger tightened on the trigger. Dun dun. Minorukawa. Wait, what's this here? A cat? No, I mean, yes, there was a person in a cat costume. I thought since I couldn't see their face, it'd be easier to ask them stuff. Fine, whatever. Now get back out there and get me some more. Minorukawa steered Chiaki toward the passing crowd. What, now? Yes, now. We've got no time to waste. I'll even stand by and watch for a minute. Now enough with the excuses and get out there. Minorukawa looked on as Chiaki wandered through the crowd. Her anxious demeanor seemed to repel everyone around her. On the rare chance she did manage to flag someone down, the way she stammered through her initial questions made them take right off again. After a minute or two, she shuffled her way back, shoulders slumped. See? It's hopeless. Okay, some advice. First off, you aren't approaching the right people. Some people are clearly in a rush, you know. You're not gonna have much luck trying to flag down a businessman who's visibly in a hurry. Now, folks who are waiting on someone, couples, groups, they're gonna be less on their guard. But I mean, if I do manage to nab someone, how do I keep the conversation going? Chiaki asked. That was indeed the tricky part. Whenever I get an answer I'm not expecting, I get all flustered. Chiaki, have you ever played tennis? Tennis? Well, yeah. I was in my school's tennis club. She struck Minorukawa as being more the manga club type, but that was neither here nor there. Okay, that'll make this simpler. What's more fun, rallying with an opponent or hitting the ball off a wall? Rallying with someone, of course. Minorukawa gave a hearty nod. And why is that? Because when you hit the ball off a wall, you already know where it's going to come back to. Revelation dawned on Chiaki's face. Oh. It's the same with interviews, Norikawa said. Don't get flustered. Enjoy the rally. But I don't think I'm composed enough to enjoy it. Don't overthink things. Just let yourself enjoy the small talk. Small talk? I'm sure I'm not any good at that. She was starting to waffle again. Okay, let me ask you this, Norikawa said, taking a step closer. Are you happy with your life right now? I'm not happy with my life right now, no, Chiaki muttered. She hung her head in dismay. Okay, so start with that, Norikawa said. Huh? Chiaki blinked a few times as she lifted her head back up. I'm not happy with my life right now. But what about you? Like that. I'm not happy with my life right now, but okay. A sliver of liveliness had crept back to Chiaki's voice. Norikawa jabbed his finger right in her face. Right there, he said. Put on that face when you flag people down. Chiaki's smile widened. I'll give it a shot. Thank you so much. Sure thing. Good luck. Chiaki strode enthusiastically into the crowd and tried to flag down a Westerner who was walking hurriedly past. Did she even listen to a word I said? Norikawa felt his short-lived triumph melt away. Am I just going to have to teach her everything again from scratch? Then he paused in surprise. Hold on. Okay, good. Whoa. Chiaki had snatched the man by the arm in an attempt to get him to stop. To Norikawa's amazement, the gambit worked. Before long, it looked like the two were engaged in some kind of animated conversation. Maybe she would get an interview out of this after all. Heck, the look on her face was actually somewhat confident. Sometimes people could surprise you once you got past their surface issues. Now Norikawa could head to the Burning Hammer sales demo with a little more peace of mind. Speaking of which... Crap, what time is it? In a panic, Norikawa checked his wristwatch. Think about this wristwatch. That will tell you how you think about the opposite sex and whatnot. But... It's funny, because I honestly don't care. I don't care about watches. I don't care about men. The demo was set to start in less than 5 minutes. Uh-oh. He really was cutting it close. Norikawa sprinted through the intersection, heading for Center Guy. Just for clarification, I'm like really anxious around guys. I have like a trauma thing, so it's not like all guys are bad, but like all guys I do know are bad. Anyway, let's see. Osawa. Osawa fled the room. He needed to be alone, if only for a few moments. But even if he could somehow shake Kajiwara, the other detectives had eyes all over his house. He had reached the limits of his patience. He couldn't even think straight anymore. He headed for the back door, trying to avoid the police. Opening the door quietly, he slipped across the yard and out through the back fence. He didn't want to venture too far from the house. He found a tiny alley and took cover there, thankful for a few moments to himself at last. He hadn't been there long when he caught sight of a man and a young girl, a father and his daughter, running past on the main road. It looked as if they were running from something. The man flashed a look back over his shoulder, then took his daughter by the hand and pulled her off the road. They crouched behind some bushes, hiding. As he looked around wild-eyed, he spotted Osawa watching him from the alleyway. "Help!" the man called out. "Help me! Please! If these guys catch me, The father's eyes went wide when he got a look at Osawa's face. You're... Huh? Osawa thought he recognized this fugitive too, though he couldn't remember from where. "There are some real nasty guys after us," the man said. "I know I have no right to ask you this, but please at least help me keep my daughter safe." "Probably you should go to the police if..." "No, they won't be able to help me with this. Please, I'm begging you. Help me. I'm sorry, but... Please, if not me, then at least help my daughter," the man pleaded. Osawa looked down at the girl. Unlike her father, she was calm and reserved. She reminded him of Maria just a little. He couldn't stand idly by. Osawa couldn't just stand idly by. He decided to help them evade their pursuers. "All right, follow me." "Oh, thank you. Thank you so much." He led the two back to his house and into the storage shed out back. "That's not creepy at all, your face like that. You can lay low in here for a while if you like," he said. The shed was fairly large. There was plenty of space for the man and his daughter. "I'm so sorry," the man said. "I'm not sure how I can possibly thank you." "Don't worry." Osawa closed the shed door and headed back out to take a look around. Two thuggish-looking men came running up to him. No doubt, these were the people the father and daughter were running from. "You there," said the one in sunglasses. "You see a guy and his daughter around here? They should have come by this way." There was a hint of menace in his voice. "A man and his daughter? Yes, I think I saw them run through here." "Which way they go?" "That way." "Sweet, we almost got him." The pair sped away. Osawa waited until they were finally out of sight, then called to the shed. "All right, they're gone." The door stayed closed, however. "I'm really sorry," the man called back from inside. "Those guys might come back this way. Is it okay if we hide out here a while longer?" He sounded desperate. Pitiful, really. "Sure, go ahead," Osawa said. With that, he headed back inside. Evidently, he just wasn't going to get any time alone today, no matter where he went. Osawa groaned inwardly when he got back to his study. "You're still here?" "Yes, sir. I was told to keep my eyes on you, after all." "Believe me, it shows." "Mr. Osawa, if you're going to go outside, I'd appreciate it if you let me know first." What? Had Kajiwara realized he snuck out of the house? But more importantly, Kajiwara reached back into his suit pocket. "I've been meaning to give this to you." He held out a small plastic bag. Inside was a scrap of paper of some sort. "What's that?" Osawa asked. "This is what was clogging the toilet, sir." With some hesitation, Osawa took hold of the bag. "Huh? That's..." "The passenger name here is listed as Kenji Osawa." In the plastic bag was a plane ticket. Specifically, the one for his upcoming flight to the US the following week. He'd left it out on his desk. How had it wound up getting flushed down the toilet? "This looks like it's pretty important, sir," Kajiwara said. "I must say, it was pretty careless of you to accidentally flush it." A wry sort of smile came to his face. "Although," the detective added, I suppose the question of who flushed it is another matter entirely. Osawa was at a loss for words. Someone had tried to flush his plane ticket on purpose. He was sure of it. He knocked on the door to Ai's room, but there was no response. It didn't look like she'd gotten back home yet. Osawa let himself in. The stinging scent of her perfume pervaded the room, which was decorated in all in white. Clothes were strewn all about, as if to put her slovenliness on display. She had been like this ever since they'd gotten married, and Osawa had long since stopped caring. It must have been Ai who tried to flush the ticket. He knew she didn't want him going to America, but still, couldn't she have found a better way to get rid of it? Thanks to her, he'd be stuck hunched over the damn toilet fighting with the plunger. Osawa sat down on the bed amidst the brand-name clothing. Then he spotted something odd down by his feet. It was a gold cigarette lighter. Just when had Ai picked up smoking? Osawa picked up the lighter and set it on the shelf next to the bed. He started out of the room, but stopped as he noticed a scrapbook on the bookshelf. The rest of the shelf was filled with fashion magazines, so the scrapbook definitely drew his eye. Curious, he took it down and opened it. The book was filled with articles and write-ups about the results of Osawa's research and the company's various achievements. Flipping through the pages took him on a trip down memory lane. There was even an old company memo welcoming Tanaka on board as its new vice director. There was a photo of Osawa shaking Tanaka's hand at the party celebrating his new position. It was a little peculiar to think that she had bothered to keep something so trivial. A series of magazine articles was nestled between the pages further into the book. These hadn't been clipped out for their inclusion in the scrapbook itself. Osawa glanced through them. Floundering, Okoshi Pharmaceutical arranges marriage at political convenience. It was a self-indulgent piece from some rag called 4-Star General Gossip from right after he and I had gotten married. When the piece had first run, he'd been too furious to read it. Now he gave it a quick looking over. It was pretty much exactly what he expected. It talked about how one of the corporate directors had sacrificed his own daughter in order to keep one of his researchers on board. Referring, of course, to Makino offering Osawa Ai's hand in marriage. Rumors abound of marital strife between the newlyweds. The article went on to talk about how Ai had been dating another man before she and Osawa had gotten married. The whole thing was a bunch of puerile rubbish. Any marriage involves some kind of calculated self-interest, after all. Whatever the reasons for their union, nothing changed the fact that Ai was now his wife. With a faint sigh, Osawa put the scrapbook back on the shelf. Feeling disconsolate, he returned to his study and began flipping through his CD rack. His eyes scanned for Aya Kamiki's album for Tomorrow, Forevermore. A lot of her more experimental numbers were on that album. Given how discombobulated he felt right now, this was what he needed to hear. Again, Osawa reflected on how there'd been a time when he didn't care about music at all. He'd simply purchased copies of the most popular CD of the moment as birthday presents for his 2 girls. And that had just happened to be an album by Aya Kamiki. He told me he was thrilled by the gift, but Maria hadn't seemed terribly fond of it. The next day, she tossed her copy back on her father's desk. Figuring that throwing it away would be a waste, Osawa had stuck the CD into his computer to give it a listen. He was immediately bombarded by an intense beat bolstered by bold, uplifting vocals. Aya Kamiki wrote her own lyrics, which did a fine job of conveying the emotions of a teenage girl. Osawa could hardly believe it. After listening to just one track, he was well and truly hooked. Before the day was out, he had purchased her entire discography. Huh, he muttered. For tomorrow should have been in the CD rack, but there was no sign of it. Where the heck is it? Why isn't it here? For a moment, he wondered if he was going crazy, and then he remembered. It was at the lab. He'd wanted something to listen to on break at work, so he'd brought the album there. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Not being able to listen to it made him want to hear it all the more. It wasn't like he could just go out and buy another copy right now, either. He'd just have to borrow the copy he'd given to Hitomi all those years ago. Unable to contain his need to hear that music, he went into Hitomi's room. There he quickly rummaged through the CD rack beside his daughter's bed. Part of him felt like he was being a little sneak thief. According to the email Tanaka had shown him, someone was trying to kill Hitomi. Under the circumstances, he knew that what he was doing was ridiculous, and yet he still couldn't resist the impulse to find the CD. But his efforts were to no avail. There were no Aya Kamiki CDs in the rack at all. Osawa pulled out every CD in the rack, but they were all classical music. He slumped back in disappointment. It had to be somewhere here in her room. Osawa jumped at the sound of his cell and fumbled to get it out of his pocket. Makino's name was displayed on the LCD screen. I'm out front. It was all Makino said before hanging up. Hurriedly, Osawa began tightening up the CD rack. As he worked, he thought about what he was going to say to Makino. To think that someone had violated corporate policy to such unethical ends. It sullied his research. Osawa wasn't about to let anyone get away with it. And yet, as he was about to leave Hitomi's room, a sudden uncertainty gripped him. He hesitated. Did he have any right to condemn Makino for running trials in secret? His hand began to sweat as it gripped the doorknob. No, he didn't. How could he? His hands were dirty and all this too. We need to keep this a secret, just between us. It'll be fine. We've already cleared animal testing. The memories hovered. Osawa himself had already administered the antiviral to someone, hadn't he? It was the only way. Muttering to nobody in particular, Osawa trudged forward toward the front door of the house. Oh no. The two detectives took up position on opposite sides of the plaza. Kano called up Sasayama on his cell phone. You ready? He asked. Just give the word. There were only two non-Japanese people in the nearby crowd. Both were eyeing their surroundings anxiously. Kano was certain the handoff was about to take place. And sure enough... Hagrid. The second man approached the one holding the Hitachi case. After exchanging a scant handful of words, he took the case and walked off. Sasayama. I'll handle the guy with the case. Got it. Sasayama broke into a run, chasing after the man who'd taken the ransom. Kano hung up his phone and rushed to close the distance with the other man. You there, stop where you are. The suspect turned and Kano recognized his face. He was indeed a member of the foreign crime syndicate that operated in Shibuya. Is the hostage safe? Kano demanded. The man's only response was an unsettling grin. Answer me. But though he repeated the question, the man remained silent. Kano took out a pair of handcuffs and reached for the suspect's wrists. Baton handcuffs. The man pulled a knife from his breast pocket and swung it right at Kano's face. Kano managed to jerk away in time, but his momentum carried him too far backward and he sprawled onto the pavement. Damn. The suspect was already making a run for it. Suddenly, a large car of foreign make skidded to a halt, blocking off the man's escape route. A tall Caucasian man jumped out. He wore sunglasses and a crisp suit. Now cornered, the fleeing suspect brandished his knife. Be careful! But Kano didn't even have time to finish shouting his warning. There was a metallic cling, and the knife went flying through the air. The man in the sunglasses had snapped his right foot up, sending the weapon flying. As the attacker's jaw dropped in astonishment, the newcomer proceeded to elbow him right in the face. The blow connected and the suspect went down hard. Ow. The fallen man turned his head to look at Kano. His mouth moved as if he was attempting to say something. He never got it out. The man in the sunglasses kicked him in the face. With a groan, the perp slumped down unconscious. Hey, Kano snapped. What the hell are you doing? He stormed over to the man with the sunglasses. The man nonchalantly dusted off his suit. You were ordered to watch and see where these guys went, right? He spoke in fluent Japanese. Nihongo de daijoubu desu. What happened to that Japanese sense of honor I've heard so much about? Who are you? I'm from the U.S. Embassy's Regional Security Office, the man replied. He presented Kano with his ID. Jack Stanley. His title was listed as Security Assistance Officer. Kano glanced at the car he'd shown up in. The license plate was blue with white lettering. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But the ministry wouldn't just send some diplomat to intervene in a police investigation. Kano pulled his phone out of his pocket. Sasayama's name was displayed across the LCD screen. How are things on your end, Kano? I have the suspect in custody. How about you? Sasayama hesitated. He got away from me. What about the Itachi case? I'm sorry, but he's still gotta be around here somewhere. I'm gonna look around some more. Sasayama hung up. What's your name, detective? Jack Stanley asked as Kano was processing this new information. Kano from the Shibuya precinct. Alright, Kano. I'm going to need you to follow my instructions for the next while. Why's that? Instead of answering, Stanley took out his cell phone and made a quick call. After a few moments, he held the phone out for Kano. Here, permission from your boss, he said. What? Kano squawked. He took the phone gingerly, bracing himself. Kano speaking. You imbecile, what the hell are you thinking? It was Kuze and he was furious. Understandably so, really. Kano had disobeyed a direct order, and for what? All he accomplished was losing track of the Itachi case. I'm sorry, sir. You really think sorry's gonna cut it? You're off the force, Kano. Kano slumped, defeated. He had no reply. He knew he deserved whatever punishment he got. Still, orders from up top didn't trump the hostage's safety. If he could have gone back and did it all again, he was sure he'd make the same call. Maybe that meant he wasn't detective material, but so be it. That's what I want to tell you, Kuze continued. But for now, I need you to follow the instructions of the guide there, Stanley. Do whatever he tells you. Sir? Kano hadn't seen that one coming. He'd disobey orders, that was undeniable. And yes, he knew he deserved a reprimand. But being ordered to tag along with some stranger who'd just turned up out of the blue? What the heck? May I ask why the US Embassy is involved with this? No more questions, Kano. Step in line. Please, just hold on. Sir, I have no idea what's going on here. Kuze let out an exasperated sigh. That makes two of us, kid. And with that, the director hung up. It sounded like even Kuze didn't have the whole story here, which meant that orders were coming from someplace higher. A foreign syndicate moving the ransom around, the US Embassy. Whatever was going on, it was more than just a local kidnapping case, and Kano was deep in the middle of it. He handed the phone back to Stanley. A few moments later, two detectives from the MPD arrived on the scene. Stanley handed over the fallen criminal to them. You're chasing a bum lead, you know, Stanley said as he watched them carry the man away. What do you mean? Kano asked. I mean, this kidnapping isn't about the money. My priority is the girl's safety. For right now, your priority is doing what I tell you to do. Kano gave him a scowl, but Stanley ignored it. That guy we just, arrested, he asked. He tell you anything? No, nothing, Kano said. Really now? All trace of emotion drained from Stanley's eyes. His gaze pierced Kano like icy daggers. It held a glimmer of something dangerous. Something Kano had seen plenty of times since he joined the force. He wasn't looking into the eyes of some diplomatic liaison. No. This was a man who knew how to kill, who'd killed people before. With some effort, Kano managed to regather his sense of professionalism. He didn't tell me anything, he repeated. I just know that he's a member of some foreign crime syndicate that works out of Shibuya. I probably know some of their hangouts. Show me, Stanley said, cool as an automaton. We'll take my car. Kano wiped away some of the sweat that had beaded on his brow as they headed for the vehicle. He was just sliding into the passenger seat when Kuze radioed over the wireless. Okie dokie, folks, listen up. The childish tone was back in his voice, full force. Kano stiffened on reflex. He knew what that meant. So, Hitomi Osawa has, gone missing. What? Kano couldn't believe his ears. Wasn't Tateno supposed to be protecting her right now? Also, Detective Tateno hasn't radioed in. And, we can't reach him from our end, either. No way, Kano blurted out. It can't be. So yeah, Kuze continued, he might have gotten caught up in this incident, too. It wasn't like a detective of Tateno's stature to go incommunicado during an investigation. It could only mean that something had happened to him. Something major. Tama. No matter where I wander, though, I don't spot the truck anywhere. Now there's only 15 minutes before the demo's supposed to start. I better make my way back to the venue. Maybe Chudi had better luck in her search. Back at the break room, I'm met by Mr. Yanagishita, who positively radiates despair. Did you find it? I'm sorry. I tried. Yanagishita's shoulders slump further at my response. Have you heard from Chidi? I ask. No, nothing yet. I guess she's our last hope. All of a sudden, Mr. Yanagishita holds up a pendant. The situation's rough. I'd like you to wear this. It's a miracle stone like the one I saw back in the storeroom earlier. This ought to kick up your luck a notch. Now I see that Yanagishita is wearing another miracle stone around his own neck. Using one bit of sham merchandise to help find another. Nice. This is the pinnacle of pitiful. That's what this is. Hurry up, put it on. Before the luck runs out. Mr. Yanagishita's eyes are all bloodshot. Something tells me that refusing his requests wouldn't be wise right now. After a moment's hesitation, I take hold of the pendant. The stone is blue and glittery. Is that Chidi? Mr. Yanagishita squeaks. He whips out his phone. No, sorry, he mutters after listening for a moment. I think you have the wrong number. Guess it isn't Chidi after all. Okay. And yet he stays on the line. Huh? Really? His tone suddenly does a complete 180. Yes, please, thank you so much. As soon as he hangs up, Yanagishita strikes a victory pose. It's a miracle! Burning Hammer is back, baby! Huh? The recycling guy realized his mix-up and returned the boxes to the loading dock. Oh, for real? You girls did great! Thank you! From the bottom of my heart. I've never seen someone come so close to literally jumping for joy. I'm gonna go prep the demo room. Tama, you go bring the burning hammer inside. With that, Mr. Yanagishita practically flies out of the room. No way, I murmured to myself. This thing didn't actually work, did it? I examined the miracle stone more closely. It just looks like some kind of toy jewelry. I wish that I actually get paid my 20,000 yen. Hey, it's worth a shot. With the miracle stone still clutched in my hand, I hurry out to the loading dock. I brace myself before actually stepping out the door. It's there! It's really there! The cardboard boxes are scattered all around outside. Wait, scattered all around? What happened to them? I suddenly have a very bad feeling about this. Apprehension gnaws at me as I open one of the boxes. No! I shriek and my vision dims. The box is full of bottles, a burning hammer, all of them smashed to pieces. Yee. Alright, so I'm gonna end this here. Next time I'll start the 13 o'clock to 14 o'clock, aka 1 to 2 o'clock. There's a lot going on. I have so many questions. I must know. I need answers. So maybe you guys do too, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one excited. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!